If you've ever compared the weight of two people, one with extra fat and the other with muscle, you'd notice that the heavier person is often the one who is overweight, not the muscular one. But does this mean the overweight person is better in any sense? The same principle can apply to currencies, like the Kuwaiti Dinar, which holds the title of the highest valued currency in the world. Right now, one Kuwaiti dinar is worth about $3.3 US. But does that necessarily make it the strongest currency? The value of currency isn't determined simply by its exchange rate. It is heavily influenced by the economic and financial policies of a country. Every government decides whether to aim for a strong, weak, or stable currency based on its own goals. The market responds to these policies, and over time, this leads to fluctuations in exchange rates. You might dream of having a currency that is worth $10, but markets play the ultimate role in determining what that currency is truly worth. Let's look at Egypt for a moment. Why is one US dollar worth around 47 Egyptian pounds today, when it was once around 8 before the country's currency flotation in November 2016? If the Egyptian government had kept the exchange rate artificially low at 8 Egyptian pounds, the country would have faced severe consequences. A black market would have developed, and the real value of the dollar would have skyrocketed. Foreign investments would have dried up because no investor could calculate the risks and returns in an unstable currency environment. This is what happens when countries like Venezuela today face multiple exchange rates with huge gaps in value, creating chaos. I'm not suggesting Egypt's government handled everything perfectly, but their decision to float the pound provided a much-needed balance for the economy. It allowed the markets to adjust and foreign reserves to gradually build up. So why is the Kuwaiti dinar so valuable? The fact that it's the most expensive currency globally is tied to deliberate decisions by the Central Bank of Kuwait, which follows a fixed exchange rate policy. This means that no matter the demand or supply, the value of the dinar is kept stable at approximately $3.3. You might wonder though, why would Kuwait want its currency to stay at such a high value? The answer lies in Kuwait's massive oil exports. Nearly 95% of Kuwait's government revenue comes from oil, and a strong dinar means that when the country earns dollars from oil sales, they exchange them at a favorable rate, boosting profits. However, there's a catch. When a currency appreciates, it can make a country's exports more expensive on the global market. But this doesn't apply to Kuwait in the same way it applies to other countries. Kuwait's economy depends almost entirely on oil, and in fact, they export very little else. To give you an idea, in 2024, Kuwait's non-oil exports totaled just around $400 million, roughly the annual value of one big city's agricultural exports. With such limited non-oil exports, Kuwait doesn't need to worry about a strong dinar making its products unaffordable internationally. Kuwait is a small country with a population of just 4.5 million, and it enjoys a positive balance of payments and substantial cash inflows. The country's economy is relatively small, which means their strategy of keeping a high-value currency works for them, at least for now. But can this last? The world is changing rapidly, and so is the global energy market. The demand for oil, while still significant today, is predicted to peak within the next few decades. Renewable energy sources like solar and wind power are becoming more mainstream, and innovations like electric cars and hydrogen-powered trains are taking off. Even large oil companies themselves are acknowledging that oil demand is likely to decline. Shell's own executives believe that oil demand will peak within the next 15 years. This is a critical reality for oil-dependent countries like Kuwait. The value of their currency is based on oil prices, and if the oil market starts to lose steam, their current economic structure will no longer be sustainable. Kuwait needs to diversify its economy, or else its high-valued dinar may become a liability rather than an asset. As the global market evolves, the Central Bank of Kuwait may eventually need to reconsider its exchange rate policies and devalue the dinar to align with future realities. Remember, currency values are not fixed. Think its economic strategies. And the market will always adapt to global shifts. Kuwait's current approach may work for now, but as the world transitions to cleaner energy and diversifies away from oil, Kuwait will need to rethink its economic strategies. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to subscribe for more content on global economics and companies' stories.